Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining my channel once again. I also want to say Happy New Year, Happy 2021. We made it, and I hope and pray 2021 is a lot better than 2020 because, 2020 really, took us on a ride, to say the least. But, moving forward, I just want to. So, I want to talk about one of the times the ex-narc threw breadcrumbs my way. And I literally jumped for joy and dang near licked the floor as I was picking the breadcrumbs up to, eat. And it's embarrassing to say, but it is what it is. I always want to keep it 100 on this channel and always, be truthful with you all, no matter how, bad or ugly it gets. So anyway, our 6th wedding anniversary came around. And yes, I know that is a lot of time to be sticking around with a narcissist. But when you don't know what you're dealing with and, you just don't know what you're dealing with and you try your hardest to make it work, which is what's the case with me. And then, we have 3 kids together. So all in all, I stuck around for, we knew each other. We dated on and off for 4 years, and we were married for 9 years. So yeah, I have a lot of stories to tell, and, there was a lot of abuse, mentally, psychologically, physically. So it's just kind of like a video diary. When I share my experiences here on YouTube, and it's not to, shame anyone or, gain sympathy. It's in the hopes that if you are in a situation or a situationship with a narcissist or narcissistic individual, it's my hope that you see yourself in one of the videos or some of the videos, if not all, and I hope that it wakes you up to say, hey, this is the kind of person that I'm dealing with. I need to run for the hills as fast as possible so that, I don't stay in this situation any longer, because it never gets better. Narcissists do not change for the better. They get worse as time goes by. So on to the story of me licking up the breadcrumbs. So like I said, we were celebrating our 6th anniversary, and we were living in Italy at the time. I was stationed there for 4 years. We had an amazing neighbor who took in our children for, that day so that the ex-narc and I could celebrate and, enjoy each other's company. With all that said and done, the ex-narc was acting extremely, he was just acting off. Like, he just wasn't making it a secret that he wasn't interested in doing anything for our anniversary, let alone being around me. I overlooked all the red flags and was just like, okay, if I could just get him down to Venice, which was an hour away from Aviano, where we were living. I was like, if I could just get him down to Venice, he'll be fine. Maybe he's just, had a bad day, or, just overlooking everything and trying to make excuses for his actions. So anyway, he went kicking and screaming to Venice. And all my life, all I ever wanted to do when it came to Italy was to ride in a gondola. The boat where they have like the Italian person rowing you in the water. It can be something just for fun that you do, or it's usually tied to something romantic. It's something that usually you do with your love, your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, husband, and whatnot. So I always thought, in my head, that was just something I always wanted to check off my things to do in life. So with it being our 6th-year anniversary, I was like, how perfect would it be for us to just go to Venice and ride in a gondola together? And the ex-narc knew this. He knew that's like one of the main things I used to always talk about. And us being stationed there for 4 years, I figured we'd definitely get it done at least one time, which would have been enough for me. But this was our last year in Italy, and it was getting close to us having to leave. So I figured, it was going to happen on this day. So we get down there, and like I said, he was acting very put off. Like he just didn't want to be there, didn't want to celebrate or anything like that. And we get to Venice. We finally get to Venice after, an hour train ride. And we started walking around and, doing the sightseeing. And, I just didn't feel like it was, the romantic situation that I had dreamt of it being. But as soon as I saw a gondola going down past our way, I mentioned to him that, babe, this will be, the best time to go on a gondola ride. I always want to go on a gondola ride. And he immediately, shut it down and was like, I don't want to get on a gondola ride. It's too cold. The water's too cold or whatever. Mind you, it was like the weather was not cold at all. It was in March and the sun was out and it was a perfect day. But he insisted the water was too cold, which was the dumbest excuse ever, because it's not like it's not like you're getting into the water. Like you're literally in a boat the whole time. So, after trying to talk him into it a few times, he made it extremely clear that it just wasn't going to happen. So, you can drop the topic now. So we roamed around Venice a little longer, and I just decided that I wasn't going to put on a front anymore, and I was like moping around. My face, you could see it all. It was all over my face and my body language. Like I was just pissed off, annoyed, all of that. And so I guess he noticed, and I really didn't care if he noticed. I hoped that he would notice and actually give in and say, okay, babe, let's do the gondola ride. But no, that never happened. So he, he walked around with me silent. He was silent. I was silent. It was just starting to get really awkward. And then he noticed that there was a random photographer in the middle of one of the areas in Venice. And he knows I love taking pictures, whether it's, me getting the pictures taken of myself or me taking pictures of other people. But nonetheless, I love pictures. So he decides to pay money to have this photographer take pictures of us together. They came out pretty decent, and it was supposed to make up for the fact that he didn't want to ride in the gondola, and it made up for it, just maybe 5% out of 100, which is not much, but I guess it was just something quick for him to do to break the awkwardness. So we took a few pictures and we walked around a little more, and I asked him if he wanted to have dinner at one of the restaurants, and he decided that wasn't something he wanted to do either. I mean, it was sad, y'all. Like, when I think about it now, it's just like, why was I even holding on to this mess of a so-called spouse? So anyway, we end up getting back on the train to go back home, and I was done. Like, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to be around him. And the last thing that he pulled, or the last breadcrumbs that he decided to throw my way, was to write something on my Facebook wall saying, or I don't know if it was my Facebook wall or his, but he wrote on one of our Facebook walls, like, happy anniversary to the love of my life. We've been through so much, yada, 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 but, we made it. The same crap that a lot of couples put on there, on each other's walls or whatnot when it's an anniversary or a celebration of some sort. So that was really huge to me at the time, but it was nothing but breadcrumbs. It was huge to me at the time because he refused to add me as a friend on Facebook, even when we were dating. And then when we were married, he still refused to add me. And he just brushed it off as, there's certain things that he wants to say or act or do without having me attached at the hip on every single thing or aspect of his life. I mean, hello, I was your wife. You should want to share everything, but I let him have that because we literally got into so many arguments and literally got into a physical fight over, the fact that he just wanted to keep me shut out of a lot of social media stuff. I couldn't have the password. I couldn't see anything. So yeah, we were on a train going back home, and he grabbed my phone, and I was just like, what are you doing with my phone? And he was like, hold on, just chill. And so yeah, I think he ended up posting it on my wall. And so sorry about that noise in the background. So when he handed the phone back to me and I looked and read what he put, I was just like melting, inside, like, oh, that's so sweet. And that was supposed to make up for the whole him not wanting to ride in a gondola. And I actually accepted that. At that time, I accepted that. And, the crazy thing is, it wasn't too long before we ended up in another argument or fight that gave him a reason to just delete that whole thing. So yeah, that didn't last long. So it was just something that would pacify me for the time being. And like I said, that was just Literally, those were breadcrumbs that he was throwing at me, and I took the bait. And as embarrassing as it was, I did it. And he saw over time, over the years, that that's all he had to do was throw breadcrumbs at me from time to time, just to save face and stay in my good graces, and as long as I was taking the bait, that's what he was going to continue to do. But me now looking at all of that, I will never let a guy treat me that way ever again. If I see the signs up close and if I see them right away, I will not hesitate to cut that off. Like, if you can't do simple things that makes me happy and vice versa, like, we just don't need to be together. And I hope and pray that I do make it back to Italy one day and that I get that gondola ride. And if I don't, I know there's other cities and states that have gondola rides, portraying a small portion of Italy. I think they have something like that in Vegas. But yeah, I hope that I'm able to experience that one day soon. And I just might go back there with my kids just to visit and do a gondola ride with them. It doesn't have to be anything romantic for me. My twin girls were born in Italy, Maya and Mia, and that would definitely be a reason to go back. Like, hey, let's go visit your home. Let's go visit where you were born, and and also take my son because he lived there too, and just take them on a gondola ride, and I would enjoy it just as much. So I'm gonna leave, or I'm gonna get off at this time. I hope that you all take something from it and realize your worth. Don't ever let anybody throw you breadcrumbs and you jump for joy for it, because it's not worth it. And it just truly shows how much that person thinks of you, which is not much at all, if any. So thank you all for listening, and I will see you all in the next video.